Do you need a robot to, you know, take care of your kids or walk the dog or, you know, take care of elderly parents or something like that? Then Optimus can do those things. So that's very exciting.
Imagine this. You wake up in the morning. Your elderly parents are living alone. But instead of worrying about whether they forgot their medication, whether they slipped in the kitchen, or whether they are feeling lonely, a humanoid robot is already there, monitoring their health, preparing breakfast, helping them move safely around the house. And according to Elon Musk, this may not be science fiction much longer. Tesla Gen 3, also known as Optimus, is being designed not only for factories, but also for homes, including one of the most sensitive responsibilities imaginable, caring for elderly parents. Now the idea sounds shocking. A robot caregiver. But when you look at the global demographic reality, it suddenly becomes much less strange. Because Europe and many developed countries are facing a massive aging population crisis, and there are simply not enough caregivers. Today we will break down why Tesla believes Optimus could help elderly care, why Europe may become the first major market, and whether a humanoid robot can realistically perform such a human responsibility. If you want clear, realistic analysis about Tesla robotics and the future of AI-driven technology, subscribe to the channel right now. We focus on real engineering progress, not science fiction hype, because the idea of a robot caregiver is no longer a distant concept. It is becoming a serious technological discussion. Let us begin. Why elderly care is becoming a global crisis. To understand why Tesla is even talking about robot caregivers, we need to look at a demographic reality that most people do not realize. The world is getting older, much older, and nowhere is this happening faster than in Europe. Keycap 1. Europe's aging population problem. Across many European countries, the population over 65 years old is growing rapidly. Countries like Germany, Italy, France, Spain are seeing record numbers of elderly citizens. At the same time, birth rates are declining. That means fewer young workers are entering the labor market, including healthcare and caregiving professions. In simple terms, more elderly people are needing help, but fewer caregivers are available. Keycap 2. The caregiver shortage. Right now, many European countries are already experiencing shortages in home health aides, nursing assistants, elderly care specialists. This creates serious pressure on families. Adult children often live in different cities or even different countries. They worry constantly about their parents living alone. Common concerns include falls inside the home, missed medication, memory problems, loneliness, and isolation. Hiring full-time care can be extremely expensive. In some cities, private and home care can cost thousands of dollars per month. This is where technology companies see an opportunity. Keycap 3. Why Tesla thinks Optimus could help. Elon Musk believes humanoid robots could eventually assist with everyday household tasks, not replace human caregivers completely, but support them. Tasks a robot might help with include bringing medication reminders, carrying groceries, helping lift light objects, monitoring movement around the home, contacting family if something unusual happens. These are repetitive but important daily tasks. A robot assistant could reduce pressure on families and healthcare systems. Keycap 4. Why Europe may become the first market. Europe has 3 conditions that make robotic care assistants attractive. First, a rapidly aging population. Second, strong government interest in healthcare innovation. Third, high labor costs in the caregiving sector. If robots can reduce even part of caregiving costs, governments may support pilot programs. But that raises a serious question. Can a humanoid robot actually perform delicate human tasks safely? Before we explore what Tesla Gen 3 must improve in order to work in homes instead of factories, make sure you are subscribed. The next chapter will examine the engineering challenges behind turning Optimus into a real home assistant. What Tesla Gen 3 must do to care for the elderly. Now we reach the real engineering challenge. Because helping in a factory is one thing. Helping an elderly person at home is something completely different. Factories are controlled environments. Homes are unpredictable. And elderly care requires a combination of physical ability, awareness, and safety. So what exactly would Tesla Gen 3 need to do? Keycap 1. Safe physical interaction. The first requirement is gentle and precise movement. Optimus cannot move like an industrial robot. It must be able to hand over objects safely, help someone stand up from a chair, carry light items without dropping them, navigate around furniture without collisions. This requires extremely advanced hand dexterity and force control. Human hands have over 20 degrees of freedom. Replicating that with robotic actuators is incredibly difficult, but it is necessary if the robot is going to interact with people safely. Keycap 2. Situational awareness. An elderly care assistant must constantly observe the environment. Tesla is training Optimus using the same artificial intelligence principles behind its autonomous driving systems. That means the robot must understand where people are standing, whether someone is sitting or lying down, if someone has fallen on the floor, if something unusual happens in the home. If an emergency occurs, the robot could alert family members or medical services. But that requires extremely reliable perception. Mistakes cannot happen. Keycap 3. Communication and voice interaction. A caregiving assistant must also communicate naturally. That means Optimus needs strong voice interaction. For example, an elderly person could say, "Please bring me my water," or "Remind me to take my medication." The robot would need to understand the request, locate the object, and perform the task. Tesla plans to integrate advanced language models to make these interactions more natural. The goal is for the robot to behave more like a helpful assistant than a machine. Keycap 4. Long battery life for daily tasks. Another requirement is endurance. If a robot is helping in a home environment, it must operate for long periods. Tesla has suggested Optimus could eventually run for most of the day on a single charge. That would allow it to assist with dozens of tasks: cleaning small areas, carrying items, monitoring the home, performing simple routines. Charging could happen overnight, similar to electric vehicles. Now here is the critical question. Even if the technology works, will families actually feel comfortable trusting a robot to help care for their parents? Because technology adoption is not just about capability, it is also about trust. Before we examine the social and ethical questions behind robot caregivers, make sure you are subscribed. The next chapter will explore the biggest concerns people have about robots inside the home. The biggest concern: can people trust a robot caregiver? Now we arrive at the part that technology alone cannot solve: trust. Because even if Tesla Bot Gen 3 becomes extremely capable, families will still ask a simple question. Would you trust a robot to help care for someone you love? This is not only an engineering problem, it is a human problem. Keycap 1. Safety inside the home. The first concern people have is physical safety. Humanoid robots must move carefully around fragile people. Elderly individuals may have reduced balance, slower reaction time, limited mobility. If a robot moves too quickly or applies too much force, it could cause harm. That means Optimus must include advanced safety layers such as real-time motion control, collision detection, force limitation in arms and hands. Every movement must be predictable and controlled. Tesla understands this challenge. That is why Optimus development is progressing gradually. Keycap 2. Privacy concerns. Another major concern is privacy. A robot inside the home may include cameras, microphones, environmental sensors. These systems help the robot understand its surroundings. But families may worry about data security. Questions immediately appear. Where is this information stored? Who has access to it? Can the robot be hacked? For Optimus to become trusted, strong privacy protection must be built into the system. That means local processing, secure software, and transparent data policies. Keycap 3. Emotional connection. There is also an emotional side to caregiving. Human caregivers provide empathy, conversation, and emotional understanding. A robot cannot fully replace that, at least not today. However, robots could still help reduce loneliness in small ways. For example, responding to simple conversation, playing music, reminding someone to call family members. The robot does not replace human relationships, but it could help support them. Keycap 4. Human care will still matter. It is important to be realistic. Optimus is not designed to replace nurses, doctors, or family members. Instead, it could assist with everyday tasks that reduce pressure on caregivers. Think of it as an additional helper in the home, not a complete replacement for human care. This hybrid approach may be the most practical future. Humans provide emotional care. Robots provide physical assistance. Now the big question becomes economic. Even if families accept robot caregivers emotionally, will they be able to afford them? Before we answer that, make sure you are subscribed, because in the final chapter we will break down the price reality and whether Optimus could ever become accessible to normal households. The price question: will families actually afford Optimus? Now we reach the final and most practical question. Even if Tesla Bot Gen 3 becomes capable enough to assist elderly people, can normal families afford one? Because revolutionary technology means nothing if it remains too expensive for everyday households. Keycap 1. The early price reality. In the early stages, humanoid robots will not be cheap. Building Optimus requires complex components such as electric actuators in every joint, advanced cameras and sensors, high-performance artificial intelligence processors, precision motors, and gear systems. Early production units could cost well above $100,000. That places them closer to industrial equipment than household appliances. But Tesla is not planning to stop there. Keycap 2. Elon Musk's long-term goal. Elon Musk has repeatedly said that the long-term target price for Optimus could fall somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. That may still sound expensive, but compare it with the cost of full-time caregiving. In many developed countries, professional home care can cost $3,000 per month, $5,000 per month, sometimes even more in major cities. Over several years, caregiving costs can exceed the price of a robot assistant. That is the economic argument Tesla is making. Keycap 3. Mass production changes everything. Tesla believes the key to affordability is scale. Just like electric vehicles became cheaper through large-scale manufacturing, humanoid robots could follow a similar path. If millions of units are produced each year, component costs drop, manufacturing becomes more efficient, supply chains stabilize. That is when prices begin to fall dramatically. However, reaching that scale will take time. Keycap for the real timeline. Even Tesla admits that mass adoption will not happen overnight. The most realistic timeline may look like this. Early phase: robots working in factories and warehouses. Middle phase: limited use in businesses and specialized environments. Long-term phase: gradual adoption in homes. This transition could take many years, but the direction is becoming clear. Robots are moving closer to everyday life. The idea of a robot helping care for elderly parents once sounded like pure science fiction, but the demographic pressure facing many countries is real. Aging populations, caregiver shortages, and rising healthcare costs are forcing society to look for new solutions. Tesla believes humanoid robots could become part of that solution. Whether Optimus succeeds will depend on three things: technology, trust, and affordability. If those three factors align, robot assistants may eventually become as common as smartphones or home appliances. But we are still at the beginning of that journey. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more deep analysis on Tesla technology, robotics, and the future of AI-driven machines. Also drop a comment below and tell me honestly, would you trust a humanoid robot to help care for your parents or grandparents? And if you want to understand where Tesla bot technology is heading next, watch the next video where we break down how Optimus could transform factories, logistics, and everyday jobs. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.